Well, hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to be chasing down trying to align a kick drum with a bass note happening at the same time. This is often a preferred way to do things in music, and a lot of times I can record a drum part and I can record a bass part, and I can kind of worry about it later, making adjustments and alignments after the fact. But what if I had a template that allowed me, before I even start recording, to guarantee that the bass note aligns with the kick? Let's get to it. There's a few ways that we can do this. I have kind of a preferred way to do it, which I'm going to guide you through. I'll be working in Ableton today. Here's my starting point. I have two MIDI tracks set to record. If you want to enable both record tracks in Ableton, hold down the Control key while you arm the second track. If you're on a Mac, use Command. Now, whenever I press a key on my controller keyboard, I'll hear the drum sound and a piano note. I know it's piano right now, but for demo purposes. That's a snare, kick, cymbals, and here's a close-up view so you can hear what I'm hearing. For example, the crash cymbal along with this A. And down here on the C and the E, I've got a kick on the C, snare on the E. This is a fairly normal setup for when you start doing this process, and it allows me to do a little gig like this. Once you have it set up like that, we can go ahead and start assigning all of the MIDI notes, all to trigger a kick. Again, there's a few ways to do this using MIDI mapping. I'm going to show you how I do it. This is Abbey Road drums from Native Instruments. This is the 80s Chrome kit. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit closer, but first thing, rather than look at the kit, I'm going to find the tab along the bottom that says Options and click that. And here I will see an option for MIDI mapping. This allows me to identify a note and what instrument is being keyed off of this. I can even select the note by MIDI just by merely playing it on my keyboard. Right now it says C, but if I play D sharp, it'll say D sharp. But I can go ahead, just hit that key on my keyboard. It's already on a kick. I can go to C sharp. Well, there's a snare. I can just pull that down and choose kick. Work my way up. There's D, make that a kick. D sharp, make that a kick, etc. until I work up maybe an octave or an octave and a half. Also important to note, when I'm doing it by the MIDI learn function, whenever I hit a note, like say this G sharp here, it'll show me a G sharp. I can change that to whatever I want, snare or kick. I should click apply changes for each of these notes. Now, I only did this up to A, about an octave and a half or so above the low C. Let me show you. But they're all kicks now. Took me about a minute to do that, and if I add the piano sound back in, I can hear both. And I do have that on a mixer. I can mix this. And so I can recall this whenever I like. I can just go right up into the Abbey Road drums. I can click on this icon up here, do save as, and I can change this to whatever I want. All kicks. Done. Back in Ableton, I have two tracks all set to record, the piano and the drums. I can change the piano to a bass later. I can change it to bass now. I can do whatever I want. I captured 8 bars. I did run a quantize on it just to straighten it out. Let's take a look at it here. This is looped, both tracks going. There's just the piano. Just the kick. Mix them however I like. And now for the fun part, I have replaced that piano sound with an actual bass sound. This is Native Instruments, the Scarabee J bass in neck position. It's unprocessed. I love that they line up. I'm going to go ahead and just record a basic hi-hat track on this and see what we get. After messing with the snare and the hi-hats a little bit, this is what we came up with. A little bit of reverb on the snare, but the fact that we get the kick and that bass lined up, and let me solo that stuff for you. Bass, kick. Exactly lined up. Put the hats in, and that snare. It's pretty cool. I got one more trick. On the right-hand side in Ableton, if you look at these tabs that we have over here, there's one labeled D. This is for track delay. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Now I can see underneath each one of these tracks a track delay, which can make the track happen a little bit later than normal or ahead of time. Let me go ahead and solo just the kick and the bass drum, and I'm going to mess a little bit with track delay. Okay, I'm setting my levels. They impact at exactly the same moment, but I'm going to take my bass guitar and I'm just going to push it ahead in time slightly. It doesn't like while you're adjusting it. Let me go a little bit later with it. I actually like it right about there. And what we're doing is we're just taking that impact of the kick drum and the transient of the bass and making them misalign slightly. I have it set up so that the kick, the beater, you actually hear that sound, and right behind it, the bass guitar comes in. So they're not competing for that transient space. The more you mess with that, you'll get more in tune with more of a punchy feel, and especially when you're applying things like compression after the fact, especially if you do the low end independently, you're going to really hear a different type of snap to it when it happens. Now, I've got this template set up and saved in Abbey Road drums on that kit that I can turn on anytime that I feel like recording a bass line on keys and automatically getting that kick to line right up with it. No fuss, no muss. I load the template and it's going to work. And I don't necessarily even have to record bass separate from kick drum anymore. Record it once, and I'm done. And now I'm set to kind of explore and see what I come up with. Hey, don't forget to come join us in our Facebook group, Recording Tips, where these videos often parallel the discussions that we're having over in that group. And this being kind of on the topic of, sometimes we talk about what type of productions the people in the group do. And I'm kind of like the fast food drive-through of producers. I like time savers. I like things that are going to make a production go quick. I like being able to tell a client, you're not going to have to be in here for 3 months to complete a song. Let's bang it out in 2 hours. All right, guys, we got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.